Gauteng provincial government plans to launch an investigation into the provincial social development department's senior official. This comes after allegations of tender irregularities amounting to millions of rands for food parcels and dignity packs. Our reporter Moloko Moloto has been following that story for us, and he joins us now live. Moloko, if she's found guilty, this will be quite embarrassing. That's a department that's supposed to look after the needs of people who are left destitute. What are the concerns raised by opposition parties in the province?
Well, good afternoon, Marcelo. Indeed, maybe let us start here. You would be aware that in terms of the Constitution, Section 217, all government organs or organs of the state, including government departments, when they procure goods and services, they need to at least be fair, equitable, transparent, but they must also follow a process that is competitive and that will be cost effective. Now, the allegations here is that the head of the Department of Social Development in Gauteng, this is Ms. Matilda Gasela, has firstly, she ignored a recommendation by the bid adjudication committee of the department in September last year that was chaired by the CFO, which recommended that she appoint about 5 companies that will be delivering food parcels to about 5 food banks that are located in all the 5 regions in Gauteng. Now, these companies, their responsibilities was just to procure food parcels and deliver them to this food banks, which, by the way, the food banks are funded, were established. These are the warehouses. They have trucks and all the other staff members and the other material to deliver these food parcels to provinces. So that did not happen, which means that for the financial year that started last year in April 2023 and ended last month in March, the people of Gauteng, largely those who were supposed to receive these food parcels, did not receive their food parcels. These are poor people, by the way, myself. And as a result, seeing that sometime in December, seeing that the financial year was coming to an end, the department then decided, without issuing out a tender, to appoint about 5 NGOs, which according to documents we have seen were nominated by principals and appointed on a 36 million rand contract to deliver those food parcels without using the food banks, which, by the way, are paid by the department. Rather, they went straight, it would seem, to the communities. Now, the opposition in the provincial legislature is now up in arms. The DA specifically are asking that action be taken. Obviously, the portfolio committee in the legislature is also asking those questions. And also, there were other deviations that were made in February. Then the very same head of department appointed about 15 other companies without following due tender processes, meaning she utilized a deviation to say that they must be appointed. We don't know how much those 15 companies were appointed. There are other deviations that she allegedly embarked on, including the awarding of about 159 million rand worth of tenders to deliver the so-called food packs in the Northeast schools in Gauteng. Dignity packs would be sanitary towels, Marcelo, for the school children who do not have money to do that for themselves. But let's listen to Irregular, who is a member of the DA in the provincial legislature, as she is speaking to just one of those particular deviations, specifically regarding to the procurement of NGOs, the appointment of NGOs which were not supposed to be procured according to our sources, because that is the work that ought to have been done by companies that the HOD decided to ignore and not to appoint.
Why would you have a parallel process when you have 5 contracted regional food banks that are supposed to distribute food to Gauteng residents who need food parcels? And she keeps claiming they are not a parallel process. She does not have answers of how they were contracted. So for me, it leaves a glaring concern of duplication, wastage of public funds, because food banks are paid certain amount, and now you've contracted these companies, which each one was given, well, let me say the sum of the money given to these parallel processes that she had created came to about 36 million, just over 36 million rand, while the food banks were left with nothing to distribute. It's like paying somebody to do a job and then hire somebody else while you're still paying the person to do a job to do the same job. This is exactly what has happened in social development.